Yeah, what would be a good feast and famine cycle, like that you recommend for a normal person?
Yeah, okay. It's different for everybody, right? So one thing that happens in our space is that people like to do the same thing. Oh, Dr. Joy does this, and she exercises this many hours a day. Dr. Joy does an ice bath for 3 minutes every day, so I'm going to do that. That works for Dr. Joy because she's healthy and adapts to the 3 minute ice bath. But then Mary doesn't adapt, and it's a hormone disaster. Because if you don't adapt to a stress, it becomes negative. That's like someone doing this incredible trained athlete saying, I'm going to do their exercise program. You do it, it's a negative because you don't adapt. So something good just went bad. So, what I was saying is that we have to apply these stressors accordingly. Therefore, let's say that someone goes 12 hours without eating and they feel okay. We even have a way of measuring glucose and ketones, which is another subject. I don't want to confuse people, and making sure that their body's doing the right thing. Then we can push it to 14 hours, then maybe 18 hours without eating and going, okay, now you're adapting, right? Before you weren't, but now we're going a little bit gradually. So now we're fasting you a little bit longer and making your body adapt. So if we're careful about the time that we famine somebody or fast them, we can extend that time even to where we're doing a 3-day fast, even a 5-day fast. So there's ways that we feast famine. And here's the other thing. People that are on very low carbohydrate diets, one of the first things that we do is tell them they have to feast, meaning they need 1 or 2 days a week where they actually take in high carbohydrates, healthy carbohydrates, because especially people with more hormone challenges, more thyroid trouble, they typically need more feasts instead of this more famine. So feast famine cycling is a diet variation strategy that I teach to get our cells to adapt, to get our mitochondria to become better.
So what does the feast do to the cells?
So let's imagine that you have a cabin in the woods up in Alaska, and you have a certain amount of energy or a certain amount of wood to make it through a very cold winter. You're basing that on the last winter, so you have the same amount of fuel, if you will, to burn that winter. Now, this winter is extremely harsh, colder, longer, and your wood supply has diminished. Okay, so now your friend comes over and he sees that your wood supply is almost gone, and you're actually now your metabolism or your heat in your cabin, instead of keeping it at 70, now you're down to like 55 or 60 because you're afraid to burn that wood supply. So he comes over and is like, oh, I have plenty of wood. I'll give you some. And he brings some over and gives you all this wood. Immediately you fire your metabolism back up and you start feasting again. So the wood is analogous to carbohydrates. So all of a sudden now you have more and you start to burn more. So you fire up the metabolism. But the point is your body thought it was starving. When you go down low carbohydrate diets for too long, the body will start conserving its fat, just like you conserved your wood, and your metabolism goes lower and lower and lower, and you're down to 10 grams of carbohydrates a day, wondering why you're getting weaker in the gym and you're actually getting belly fat or thigh fat or whatever it is, and you're eating perfect. Well, magic happens when you get more wood, so to speak. Carbohydrate days, 1 or 2 a week, your body knows it's not starving anymore, fires the machine back up and starts burning the fuel again. That's what happens. So one of the things too is when we fast people longer, we tell them, look, if you fast for 5 days, in that same month, you better feast for 5 days. So feast famine. So there's good times to fast, there's good times to feast. For women, we notice that it's very good to feast the week before their cycle and then fast during their cycle. So we kind of run those feast famine cycles weekly. We run them monthly, and it works. But today in our space, we have low carb people, we have plant-based people, we have paleo people, carnivore people. The fact is that I teach a whole system of how rotating a diet really is the magic. You shouldn't stay in one diet too long. You will create problems. If you stay in keto diet too long, you'll create problems. It can lead to an increase in free radicals that cause cancer. Studies show it. But yet people throw the whole diet out the window because of those studies. Well, those are long-term studies. You're not meant to be in ketosis. It's a survival mechanism. It's not a diet. It's a survival mechanism that's extremely healthy, and we can do extremely good things for the body in times of ketosis. Carnivore, you can knock people out of autoimmune with carnivore. Stay in carnivore too long, you'll start to cause new problems. So plant-based diets, great. Stay in them too long, you'll start to irritate the gut because of the plant toxins, right? So every diet, too long can